Hello, welcome back to Eat Sleep Game. My name is Luke, and I am back with Jake for episode 9. How are you doing, Jake?
Yeah, I'm good, dude. Just enjoying the sun at the moment. We've had some mad good weather.
Yeah, we're going to pay for it hard. I
No,
promise
don't
you
say
that.
that. Don't be saying that, man. Like, look, it's fine. My holiday ends literally in 2 days, and it's going to start raining again, which is great because I feel like that's an omen for being back at work.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing more, fitting than being stuck in work, looking out the window at the pouring rain.
Yeah, mate. I mean, yeah, but it makes me feel better about being there because I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
well, I wouldn't be outside anyway. I wouldn't be doing anything because it's
for
pissing
sure.
it down with rain. So, yeah, it makes me feel better about the whole having to work for a living dealio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I 100% feel that. How has your week off been? Been nice and chill?
Yeah, man, it's been pretty solid. I've been about. I went to Wales, cycled to Wales
Oh,
on
yeah,
like
yeah, I
the
remember,
first
yeah.
day. That was nice. I saw some train spotting graffiti, which was a bit weird. And then,
that's right. Would you?
yeah, it was just super random. And then obviously we had our little barbecue. Had a
Yeah.
few beers here and there. Went to a pub for the first time as well since it's all reopened.
Oh.
I've only been to a pub once so far.
Fair.
Or is it twice? It might be twice. I don't know.
I think that
Who
might be
knows?
twice now. Because I remember you said you went out, you were outside of one.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been pretty sick, man. How's your week been anyway? Before I ramble for too long.
Yeah, no, same old, really. Busy with work. Just been, it's been a bit more chill this week. 'Cause it's not my first week back again, so I'm not as tired.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel that. I'm gonna feel that tomorrow
Yeah, you
or
are.
in 2 days.
You are. You're gonna have post holiday depression.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
always sucks. It's like, oh, I don't want to be here. But no, I'm all right. I'm all good. I've been playing a lot of Catherine on your suggestion, and who boy, I'm right at the end now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm literally. So I've just finished the puzzle where you got the 3 10, the 3 lots of 10 stacked blocks, and you got to figure out that one.
Okay. Yeah. My
and then
memory's a little bit hazy of
I'm
the
basically
latter
about
part
to
of
get
the
to the
game, but-
last. I'm about to get to the last section, the cathedral.
Okay,
I
sick.
think I've literally got to do one more of the kind of boss runs, I guess.
Yeah.
Called sort of thing. What was the last one? I
I'd call them
can't remember the
bosses.
last one. I think the last one was the mechanical baby.
Oh, lovely.
The chainsaw arm and stuff like that, which
That's
wasn't creepy at
nightmare
all.
fuel.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Absolute nightmare fuel.
100% was. The way it's climbing up and just screaming "daddy" all the time. You're oh.
How's your bar looking?
A little bit worse for wear now.
Oh no, you've been slacking.
Well, it was fine at first, and then 2 people randomly died. I'm like, what? I talked to them. I thought I helped. What did I miss? I'm confused. I don't know. So I don't know if they were something I could help, or if that's something that's meant to happen. I don't know.
Sure, I mean,
But
look,
it's still
I'm
pretty full.
I'm ripping you for it. My first run through, I had an empty bar. Well, I mean, it wasn't completely empty, but it
Yeah.
might as well have been.
I mean, I've only lost 2 characters from what I can tell. Well, actually, I say 2. I've only lost because they show up as sheep as well.
Yeah.
So I've only lost 2. There is one that isn't in the bar anymore, but he's still there as a sheep because he's split up from his girlfriend or whatever. So I don't know if
Yeah.
he's going to come back or what have you. But
Have you worked out which character's which then? Like sheep-wise, sheep into human, or do you just?
yes,
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
yeah. I figured it out pretty early.
Yeah.
The only ones I
it's not the
didn't
most
are the ones-
complicated thing. I
Yeah,
wish
no,
I'd-
I mean they were swearing relatively similar things.
Yeah, I really wish I'd been paying a bit more attention. Like when I played through my first time, like I did go back through it in the end, and probably enjoyed it more my second run through because I was chatting away to everyone. But because I was introduced to the game as hey, I'm really interested in how your ending to it goes. So I proper rushed my way through the game and missed out on what I would say is probably some of the more important content. Well, not the more important, but a bulk of content that is in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's cool, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Oh, dude, yeah, I love it. I think I'm about 10, 12 hours in as well, so I'm a bit above what like the average playthrough is.
Yeah.
But that's mostly because I play a lot of the Rapunzel game that's in there.
Oh yeah.
Which is a really clever thing because you can, although it's got challenge of its own, it's also for practicing like the main bulk of the puzzles of the game.
Yeah,
which is really fun as well.
To be fair, any game that has a game in the game, I'm game
Yes.
for. So
Games.
yeah, I know. I wanted to see how many times I could slam game in there. Like there was a PS2 game for the Warriors, the film The Warriors.
Yeah.
Great, absolutely amazing. But it had like an old little arcade machine in it where you could play like a little brawling game, like side-scrolling brawler. And I just got absolutely lost playing that. Like, it was sick. But yeah, no, Catherine is. It's definitely up there on like my list of games. Definitely glad I played it.
Yeah.
I still need to go through the newer version of it with Catherine number 3.
Yeah, I didn't know there were so many different ways of spelling Catherine.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't see how she fits into it without them like rewriting massive segments, which obviously they have.
So I don't know how it works either, but I wonder if she's the third Catherine that you get the phone call about.
Oh yeah, I guess that would.
I'm not finished with it, so I don't know where that leads. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I know who that guy is as well, because he's not someone I've met yet in person. But I'm pretty sure I know which sheep he is, if that is actually a correspondence sort of thing.
My memory's quite hazy because I played this back on the 360. I don't think like as it came out, it was a little bit after it would have come out, but it was pretty early in the game's run cycle, and my memory is appalling. I just remember I do well. My memory's not appalling. It's selective. No,
it's not that bad.
If I want to remember,
you retain important stuff. Yeah.
Well, not when I'm trying to remember about it. Like now, I'm trying to think about stuff that happened in Catherine, and it escapes me, or it goes fleeting. It's like it's in there, and then I go to say it, and then it goes.
I mean, like I said, maybe it is time for you to play the newer version.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, this is short enough that I'm far more interested in that version now, playing the original version. So I'm playing it through PlayStation Now on my PC.
Yeah.
And other than like the odd hiccup here and there because it's streaming, you can't download it. Other than the odd hiccup while my missus is like loading new video or something like that to watch while she's downstairs, it's ran really well. It's ran really smooth. I'm happy that I don't have to.
Oh, are you wired up or are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got like an extender.
Yeah.
Thing that runs off the copper wire and that.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I'm loving Catherine. I cannot wait. I literally I think it was Tuesday. I spent like the entire day just playing. I spent a good like probably 5 to 10 hours just playing that.
Yeah, just lost in it.
The only problem I've found is, and it's not with the game at all, it's with PlayStation Now, is that if you leave your game suspended for too long, and I don't know how long it is because I wasn't there when it happened.
It's not too long. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it will just be like, sick, you're not using this, we're going to knock you out so other people can use the server. So, which I get, like, it's what it is, but...
I think it literally is about 10 minutes. So Rach has been playing the Lego Harry Potter series. She went off to do something earlier and left it on pause, and... Well, I must have been sat there scrolling on my phone in the living room for maybe about 10 minutes before it like booted her out. So, which to be fair, I get it with some games. So like you say, Days Gone has gone on it, hasn't it? Yeah. So if, although that's probably a download, it's probably a bad example. But if it's a more popular game and you're not actually physically playing it at the time, then freeing up the server space so someone else can actually, or more people can play it, does make sense, really. Because, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3, mate, trying to do big boss runs on it, yeah. Because actually, Metal Gear Solid 3 is on PlayStation now.
Yeah, they got the
So
Metal Gear collection on there.
yeah, if you was trying to do the big boss run on that, which requires no saves, no alerts, and
Right.
just
I was going to ask what that was.
no killing, that
Oh,
means
man,
you would have to
brutal.
literally sit there and play the game front to back. Now that's fine if you're a speedrunner and you know the route back to back. Mate, I
Yeah.
fucked this up. I got so far through that game in the big boss run. I got caught going
Oh,
up the
no.
mountain right towards the end. You're going through the mountain on your way up
yeah,
to
sure.
fucking Vulcan. I set an
man.
alert off, and so the point I was getting at anyway was like, you know, I'd pause the game and I'd go off to school and that, and then I'd come back and unpause the game just so that I didn't have to save it
Yeah.
and turn my console off, sort of thing. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know, there ain't gonna be no big boss runs on the PS Now version of Metal Gear Solid 3.
No. Kind of related though. They have flipped their stance on the PSP and PlayStation 3 stores, so they are going to be keeping them live
Oh really?
after a big old uproar. They're not going to be keeping the PSP one live because obviously.
But PSP died like as soon
it
as
did.
the Vita came out, didn't it? So
Yeah. PSP died a long time ago. But I'm still hoping. So I was looking into it. The reason that you can't download PS3 games is because they don't run natively on, or they can't run natively on the PS4.
right.
I don't know why that means you can download PS2 games and not PS3 games, but hey ho.
I suppose there's something with the coding.
Yeah, the PS3 was a special machine.
Yeah, I know. I broke it with a hammer.
I'm really hoping that they do find a way to, even if it is just like the bigger or even just the first party stuff, that they do, I don't know, either improve PlayStation Now so you can download these things, especially on PC. I think that would be nice because you can with Game Pass. But yeah, just some kind of improvement there where you can actually either have all of the library available just to buy on PS5, or if you can just reliably download and play them.
So it does work on PS5. Like or PlayStation 3 can be downloaded onto PS5.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's the same issue. Well,
Yeah,
it's
'cause-
a weird issue.
Yeah, it's so the
I don't
PS4 was the
understand.
first console that wasn't backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So they did it with the PS3 about halfway through, or like after the first like proper batch of PS3s.
Yeah,
Because they were backwards compatible and then they took it out. But then
which confused the living hell out of me because that was my biggest appeal to getting the PlayStation 3 was my ability to chuck my San Andreas disc in.
yeah.
And, you know, play through that for the millionth time. It's a great drunk game to play with your friends. I mean, the multiplayer on it is dog, but like,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's an odd one because game preservation is really important these days to people, and Sony just seem not to give a shit about their old games, which sucks because you know there's a lot of good ones that could easily just go completely missing. But hopefully they're starting to see the light now.
yeah,
with
like portable ops. Bye bye.
yeah. Because like trying to get that on disc, it's going to be impossible. It's going to be, or cartridge, I guess. It's going to be Oh no, it was one of those mini discs. Wasn't it?
Well, I can't even remember what
weird
UMD.
cases.
I think they were called.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, that's probably going to be expensive to get hold of, and if they do, when they do eventually close all the stores and stuff like that, just not going to be able to. It's just going to be ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
So, it's a good thing
be
they
fair,
keep the
though,
PS3 online now.
That's not bad for everyone because there
No,
obviously
sure.
are collectors out there, and I've got some of those discs lying around. So actually, maybe I do want the stores to close. See some prices ramping up. I see myself making maybe a tenner on a couple of games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would just like to be able to play like the original Ratchet and Clank trilogy on my PS5.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to get my PS3 out because I really want to play those games again, ready for like the new one. But
To be fair though, I'm never beyond busting out the PS2. Like that
Yeah.
guy is sat in a drawer right next to me. The memory cards are in, loaded.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
to be fair, I think I've got like another 2 spare memory cards that do have saves on them as well. But yeah, it's all just down there. I need an extra DualShock controller. I should go and pick one up actually before they become too expensive. I know you can always get knockoff ones, but I mean,
Have
there's
you only got
something.
one of you?
Yeah, I've only got one.
Oh, I've got
Well,
3, mate. You could have one of my other ones.
I have. I mean, yeah, nuts. Appreciate that. I have got 2 controllers technically, but one of them is one of the old DualShock 1 PlayStation 1 controllers,
Right.
and that was that. It doesn't work on every game. Basically,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
plug it in, and the game's like, "Yo, this controller ain't supported." Actually, I don't even think
Yeah.
it says that. I think it just does nothing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that happening when like a controller would break and it was terrifying. That sucked. But yeah, you can probably borrow one of my boys.
Yeah, or I could buy it off of you. Hey, you want some money?
Or there is that because I don't need 2. I think I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 or not. I
Yeah.
don't need 2.
I'll have a
I've
look. I might
got
be
a clear
able
one
to.
and I'm like not touching that. Yeah, you could probably pick them up pretty cheap to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Let me do a quick Amazon on that. I mean, I know I could. Well, actually,
I'd
yeah,
do
no,
eBay.
eBay. Yeah. Yeah, straight. I was
On
I
Amazon,
was like, well, eBay doesn't like me very much, so
No?
no.
Fitting time.
I would explain the story, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, no,
That's not
don't
too
worry.
bad. $15.99 pre-owned.
Yeah, that's
That's
not bad
for
at
a
all.
grade
Considering
A.
like
Yeah.
new ones are like 70, 80 quid.
Mind you,
For, like,
grade
new
A
controllers.
could mean that the bloody analog stick's been chewed on.
Oh yeah, especially the COVID time. You don't want wipe that bad boy
Give
down.
me some chewed up PlayStation 2 controller, boy.
Kind of little housekeeping, I think. It's not going to make a difference for people listening to this, but we are moving our recording dates to Wednesdays instead of Fridays, so that'll give Jake a little bit more time to actually put it all together and not have to rush in that. And it's my day off anyway, so that makes it a bit easier. I'm going to be doing probably on Monday. I think I'll have a near replicant first impressions out because I picked that up today.
Oh, sick.
It's come out today.
I didn't realise that was out today.
I didn't until yesterday when like I saw like someone tweet a preview of it and I'm like, oh, not looking at that. Gonna pick it up. CD keys. I think I got it for like 35 quid on CD keys. Sponsor us.
Hey, yeah.
And then I'll do a first impressions of that. Like I said before, I'm stopping the playthroughs because 1, it just takes up too much time. 2, I can't play the games as I'd like to play them.
Yeah.
And 3, nobody watched them after the first one, so
Oh, on that subject,
go back to doing
actually,
first impressions.
Did you
Yes.
complete Soulstorm?
No. I got as far as I did on the playthrough, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to start this again at some point and play it properly.
Yeah.
And then next Friday, so then the Friday coming for people listening to this, it's Returnal coming out. So over that weekend, I should have the first impressions for that as well.
Yeah,
with,
hopefully that's going to be sick.
Apparently, the previews are really good for it.
Oh, good.
I want a complete blackout for most games. I don't watch reviews. I if I'm interested in a game, I just pick it up. I'm not, because if it sucks, it's content I can make. So either way, I'm getting something out of however much money I pay for it. But again, I did it kind of through CD keys where I got the vouchers.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna get it for a bit cheaper.
which is sick because we like cheaper.
We do like cheaper. There was a big kind of uproar about pricing and stuff like that, but that's a topic we're going to get into on our next episode, which I think will be a really interesting discussion between I'm going to be hosting it, but it's mostly going to be a discussion between Jake and his thriftiness and Jordan and the developer side of stuff from the Game 4 podcast.
Make it sound like
Yeah,
I'm going down market and like just haggling my way through a cheaper game. I wish.
I mean,
though,
you
to be
always
fair,
put it
if
as
I could.
yeah, man. Yeah, you always put it in such a like a harsh sounding way. You always call yourself stingy and stuff like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, like you're just being clever. You gotta stretch your money as far as you can.
Yeah, it's like you say. We'll get into it in the next one, but like there are reasons to pay full price for a game. I just
For sure.
an advocate for saving money because life's expensive.
Yeah, man. It is. It is. Before we get into our topic for the show, have you been playing anything, Jake? Have you made any progress on your Resident Evil travels, or was it your Darkest Dungeon you were playing on it?
Darkest Dungeon I've kind of put on pause, but as fun of a game as it is, it hits the repetitive bone hard.
Sure.
I got to 20 hours, which is mad for me at the moment with any game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I definitely want to come back to it, mainly because I just want to complete it. But I think the thing is, I've been playing DLC missions at the same time as playing like the main game because I got the whole thing in one package.
Does the DLC like weave in with the story?
I believe it does. Like, I mean, the story is almost unimportant.
Okay.
It's just a lot of dungeon crawling, you know. Like, I mean, if you've played any form of dungeon crawling game, it is a lot of repetitiveness. It just gets slightly harder as you go. The mechanics in the game, I think, are fantastic. You have a sanity meter. You have a torch that slowly starts going out, and as you get less and less light, it has more effect on your character's sanity meter, which then makes them, you know, each character has like their own personality traits. So sometimes actually I found in it, making someone hit their sort of insanity level can actually be beneficial, but it's not, but you know, you can oddly get some things to work in your favor. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's a really good game. I got 20 hours out of it. I paid a tenner. So,
nice.
you know, it's double my quota. But yeah, no, it's sick. I tried playing a bit of Spiritfarer.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I noticed pretty quickly that it just wasn't for me. I mean, it's really nice and artsy, and the idea behind it is great. Just as a really quick synopsis, Spiritfarer is like a game where you are helping people to move on into the afterlife. Literally, you're faring spirits. You are the Reaper. Don't fear the Reaper. Literally, don't fear the Reaper. It's a really nice, colourful game.
Yeah, it is. It's a really chill game as well from the little bit I played. Like, it's very kind of relaxing game despite the subject matter.
But yeah, I mean, I just... The amount of hours I could see that you would need to pour into that game to make any, like, reasonable progress with anything. Yeah, I just don't have it. It's like Stardew Valley, games like that. You have to pour hour after hour after hour into it to make any real progress.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that in some game settings, just not that one.
Fair.
But as far as the Resident Evil goes, I was going to start Resident Evil 7 the other day, but I was feeling a little bit dry, hungover, so
when is
that didn't happen.
It's early May, isn't it?
Is it May?
Village.
Yeah, it's really not far off now, actually.
Yeah, 7th of May. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, just to tie us back into spending the amount of money on games, that is one game that I'm actually willing to, well,
yes,
questionable, but I feel like I'm willing to spend the money.
Well, for context as well, you are buying or are looking at buying like the full edition with the DLC and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, straight up.
Which I think I think is bonkers.
$64.99. My problem is I'm so tied into, look, man, the films are shit, but I love them. Resident Evil is just, you know, I love everything about it. All the crap old games on PS2, yeah, like the side spin-off games.
Oh, sure.
I've owned them and I've played them, and there was one that come with. Do you remember the gun attachments that you could get? Yeah. So we have one. It's like that. It's a bit like House of the Dead.
Okay.
But Resident Evil, you know,
Fair.
They're shit. They're really, really not good games. Like, don't go looking for them. Don't bother. If you want a Resident Evil like game that you've never played, get your hands on Rule of Rose. I mean, you'd be hard pressed for that because it's banned in this country. Just port it, do whatever. It's an amazing
Or
game.
play Dead Space.
What's that?
Or play Dead Space.
Or play Dead Space. Yeah, Dead Space is good.
I was going to say, I think if you got the time, you should crack on with Resident Evil 7 because I heard today that this is meant to be a trilogy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Village is going to be the middle part of whatever this is going to be. So I don't know how it links because, like you, I haven't played 7 yet.
I mean, it's like I said to you. The main reason I held off on playing 7 is because I just had it in my head that I really wanted to play it in VR.
Yeah.
I've heard multiple times that it's fine. You don't need to play it in VR mode. It's not necessary. But I mean, there's something about jumping into the Resident Evil world in VR again, being me and having my love for Resident Evil.
Well, I was gonna say it might be worth you just playing it through and getting the story and stuff like that.
Yeah,
in its regular form, and then just after the time that comes out, you're allowed in people's houses again, so you could always come over and fuck about with it in my VR.
Yeah, I mean, look, the answer is yes. Don't even have to think about that, but
because then that way, if it doesn't, because my brother is generally fine with VR, but he said playing Resident Evil 7 in VR made him feel sick.
Yeah,
so there's always that game that's gonna.
Well, it was one of the early VR games, wasn't it?
It was. I think it was the first AAA big game that got a full on. You could play it all in VR sort of thing.
I mean, I'm imagining the VR playing of that game is gonna act a bit like House of the Dead. Those arcade shooters.
Well, I think it is just like it is outside of VR. It is just with a headset on. Because I think you just use the regular controller. And then they blur the sides of the screen a little bit so you don't get motion sickness. I haven't actually played it.
That's made me feel much better about the fact I'm probably about to play it on my computer. But I mean, yeah, okay. Look, goodbye, Resident Evil. You always make me feel so happy, but then you always manage to crush me in some way.
Well, it's also weird. I'm not 100% sure if it's because Sony funded it or specifically paid for it, but I believe the VR is only available on PlayStation as well.
Yeah, so I was looking into this after you said it to me a while ago, and it's certainly not VR on PC. I'm sure there's someone who modded it somewhere, but
oh yeah, probably yeah.
Right. Yeah,
it's a shame. Awesome. In that case, let's get into our main topic, which for today we are taking a look back at some of our favorite villains from video game history, some of the ones that stand out the most to us, because not all games have villains. Something like Spiritfarer, as Jake was talking about, or
I suppose Life Catherine is the villain in that game. I mean, life came to an end.
It depends how you view it. Yeah, but there is apparently life after death in Spiritfarer, so
yeah, true.
I don't know. I've only played a little bit of it, so I don't actually know.
Well, yeah, so I mean, I got the game refunded, so
yeah. But no, what a lot like superhero movies and stuff like that, you're only as good as your villain is. So where do you want to start, Jake? What's a villain that stands out to you?
So just so that I can get this out of the way, because I'm inevitably going to come back round to it. Resident Evil, and I'm going to go. I've got two here from Resident Evil. Both of them stand out for similar reasons, I guess. So the Resident Evil 2 remake, obviously, Mr. X was I mean, he was put together, so they coded him so well. His reaction to what you was doing, and if you made a loud enough noise in one point in the in the police station, then that's when he turned around and started coming for you. Now I know that he did like despawn and respawn in places, and I know some people got some amazing glitches out of that where he'd like double up and stuff.
Oh no. So it wasn't doubling up. There were actually two of him roaming around.
Oh, there were. Oh, what was
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Literally
It's
one in,
coded.
like east and west wings.
I can't remember off the top of my head how exactly it works, but there are two of them. When he spawns, there are two of them, so he can like cut you off
Yeah.
out of nowhere, sort of thing. But it kind of in the same way that they did with Alien Isolation, sort of thing. They were really clever with the AI.
Yeah.
But yeah, those videos are hilarious.
Yeah,
where he's
mate.
like running down the corridor, he's like, "Oh shit, Mr. X," and then turns around like, "Oh shit, there's another one."
I mean, to be fair, seeing him
those are
as
funny.
Thomas the Tank Engine was sick as well.
Oh my god, yeah,
But
that was hilarious.
you
It
know,
was.
he was just great. I
Yeah.
chucked that game on, and I played it in the noir version to begin with because yes, I did
Cool.
fork the money out at the beginning. I paid full price for that game with all the DLC instantly. Didn't even think about it, actually. It
I
was
didn't
as
even-
soon as they announced it and it came on Steam, I paid for it.
I didn't even realize there was DLC.
And yeah, no, it was sick. It's not really DLC. Anyway, that's a different
It's
story.
just different content.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mr. X, great. It's just
Yeah.
It's just like an empowering enemy, I guess. He's
Yeah,
he's
I
always
mean-
there. You're always fearful of going through that door because is he going to be right in front of you? I wish I'd
Yeah.
never experienced the original game because I had some ideas that the remake was obviously amazing, but I had some ideas about little things in it that were going to happen.
Yeah.
But they pieced it together so well for that remake
Yeah.
that to experience that from being blind, having a blind run through for it would have just been sick. But
I mean, that's exactly what I did.
yeah. I mean, I
It was
consider you
awesome.
very lucky.
Oh, I do as well because that shot to like that was my favorite game that launched that year. It was unparalleled for me.
Yeah.
I think the only downside is they tried to recreate that with Nemesis in 3 and it just did not work.
Yeah, so I was going to get onto that. So Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now, like you say, in the Resident Evil 3 remake, Nemesis was whack. They coded him. He was hard coded. It was if you run this way, he will appear here. If you run that way, he's going to appear over there. And they completely fucked him up.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3, the original Resident Evil 3, it may have been scripted like that as well. I don't know. All I remember is sitting on my mate's floor on our little PAL TV with the fucking PlayStation 1 plugged in and us basically screaming as this fucking giant rocket launcher wielding thing was just bounding after us. I mean, the original game was better in pretty much every sense other than looks.
Yeah.
There was more content and
Yep.
it was pieced together a bit better. Maybe a little bit more sexist, but even I'd say the remake still fell into some of those issues. Although they did tone it down a bit, there was still some issues along those lines. But no, the original Nemesis, he was something to be feared, man. Like maybe it's because I was a kid, maybe not. Either way, I just remember shitting myself every time he jumped down a flight of stairs.
Yeah. I mean, that was the general consensus. It was flipped the other way around because Mr. X was only in like half of the game for the original 2, right? You only followed Jill around. So in the remakes, it completely flipped around. It was Mr. X that was the high point. And it was just a shame that they screwed up 3 so much because I was so looking forward to that.
Mate, I still enjoyed it for all its like
I did as well.
shortfalls. I really did enjoy it. I think they did a really good job of like bringing Jill's character to life a bit more. And especially after like the way she was in Resident Evil 5 because they turned her into a bitch in that game.
Didn't she get like possessed or brainwashed or something?
Yeah. I mean, look, the story's out there.
Well, hopefully 7, 8, and presumably 9 are gonna realign things, perhaps. So I mean, Chris Redfield's in Village. Is it Chris Redfield? Pretty sure.
Yeah,
It's
Chris
in
Redfield
Village.
is like one of the main staple characters.
And they look like they're going to be doing some interesting stuff with him. So
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah, I
see.
didn't know they was tied into it. I thought I
Yeah, he's
thought
on
it was
the
a whole
box art.
new character, a whole new thing.
Yeah, so apparently he comes in near the end of 7, and then I think he's got a DLC.
I
I
see.
think it's Chris Redfield.
Okay, cool. Well, that's something to sort of look forward to. He's one of my least favorite characters.
Yeah, I haven't played many of the Resident Evil games, but like I don't think I've played one where he's in it. But I've just everything I've seen and heard about him. I just find just every other character far more interesting.
Yeah.
He just seems like a big old meathead.
I mean, he's supposed to be just your big bruiser guy. Yeah, he's kind of cool in the first Resident Evil game. He was essentially hard mode. Yeah, 'cause
Right.
He just goes in with a singular weapon, which is a knife.
Okay, sure.
So he literally is your hard mode for that game.
Yeah.
You know, you choose between him and Jill. Jill has a gun and a knife, and he has a knife. And you know, if you chose Chris, you was a bit of a dickhead. Too brave for your
How
own
many
good.
times? Yeah. How many times did you pick Chris then?
I mean, I've certainly played through as Chris, but the thing is, I know the puzzles in that game like the back of my hand. So,
Fair.
no, I'd say I probably could give that a decent go at speedrunning. It's like Resident Evil 2 remake. I was getting so close to getting that S plus, but I never quite got it. But
Fair.
yeah, I was getting pretty close.
Fair. I'm gonna go a bit more. I'm gonna stay on the same sort of lines as you. I'm gonna go a bit more well known first. I'm gonna go with the Joker from the Batman series
Yeah.
because for me, it's not quite like Spider-Man, where I think the Spider-Man games, the PS4 and Miles Morales are some of, if not the best, stories for that character and the most well-told stories.
Yeah.
I do think there are some Batman, especially like Court of Owls, Death of the Family, stuff like that are better stories, narratively wise.
Yeah.
But the Joker is just so well done. I enjoyed him in Arkham Knight. I don't think he was necessary entirely in
He
the way
wasn't
that he was
necessary,
used.
but I actually loved like just his little appearances. You'd be like
Yeah,
flying around the city, and all of a sudden
Yeah,
there
yeah.
he is. They did it so seamlessly. Like
yeah.
definitely one
Yeah.
of the highlights for the game. He wasn't necessary, like he really wasn't necessary, but one of the highlights of that game for me actually.
And it was such a big deal when you're walking out of Arkham City and Batman's holding him because he's actually killed him.
Yeah, like a little baby.
He's actually dead, sort of thing. And they allude to it earlier in the game as well, because the Arkham games are so, well, up until Night, they are really, really clever. Night went a bit too obvious.
Yeah, I mean,
They tried to be too clever, and it was like, well, no, we know who that is, sort of thing.
yeah, I think as well. If you've got any level of prior knowledge, and in spite of them crying that it wasn't going to be him, you knew.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think people would have been more excited if they were just like, yeah, we're doing Under the Red Hood
Yeah,
as a video game.
yeah, I would have.
Like, I would have. I mean, it's like now that they're doing Court of Owls. I am so excited.
Yeah,
So excited.
Is
just,
that in the
just because of Court of Owls. That is
the 4-player one? Not
Yeah,
one.
Gotham Knights.
Is it
Or
4-player?
the co-op one.
Yeah,
I think it's
2-player. Sure.
I think it's just 2-player.
Yeah.
I think the one that Rocksteady are doing, the Suicide Squad one, is going to be
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
potentially a more
yeah.
4-player one.
Okay.
Which is not what I wanted, but we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully, it's still got a
probably
a good story. to go
crap
with.
because everything they try and do with Suicide Squad has been crap.
Yeah. But no, man, the Joker is. I played these games out of order, so I played City first and then Arkham Asylum. because it was just the way I got them when I was younger.
Okay. I was about to be like, why? But you explained that pretty quickly.
Not on purpose.
Yeah.
Not on purpose. And man, I genuinely think this is the best version of the Joker I have personally seen. Because they're always any like either live action or like animated version of them. There's always some pitfalls, maybe other than Heath Ledger's Joker in general. There do tend to be pitfalls where something story wise or something just feels a bit off. Like I'm not a big fan of D'Onofrio. No, not D'Onofrio. Sorry, DiMaggio's Joker. He's a bit too gruff and grisly for me.
Yeah,
I prefer obviously Mark Hamill is the Joker.
I like to call him Dreadlock Joker. DiMaggio's one.
Yeah, Dreadlock Joker.
Yeah. I mean, he was all right. The thing is,
he wasn't bad by any stretch. It just wasn't one that I jived with too bad.
He had a really good story as well to run off of, and I'm on your side with this big time. Mark Hamill, like all the way, is the embodiment of the Joker.
100%. And like this is probably his best work to a degree where he did this and he was like, "Cool, I'm retiring."
Yeah.
And then didn't retire, but hey ho.
I mean, he tried.
Yeah, he retired for one game.
Yeah. Well, it was for the films and that as well. But I mean, he's always been a bit picky as to whether he does play the Joker in the animated films or not.
He came back.
Yeah.
He came back for the films and and the games, obviously. But he came back for Death of the Family. No, Death of the Family.
Yeah.
Or Death in the Family. And I didn't like the way they ended that because it took away a lot of the mystery as to like who killed who or what happened or whatever. But no, like the Joker in the Batman games is, to me, they are the pinnacle of Mark Hamill's Joker. In the look, the acting behind it, the storyline that goes with it, and generally he's really funny as well.
Yeah,
like he's got he hits those corny, stupid jokes so well. And if I think again, this is part of potentially where Arkham Knight falls down is that the Joker wasn't the villain.
Yeah,
they didn't.
I mean, I
as
love
much
Crane
as
well. Crane is sick.
I do, but they didn't put enough focus on him.
No, because
like he should have been the driving force.
I can't even remember. It's literally called Arkham Knight. I was like, I can't even remember what the main villain's called.
Yeah. He is.
Very
There were just so many things that didn't pan out. Like the side stuff with Hush.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Man, after setting it up in City and then just it got paid off with a QuickTime event.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, Hush is such a cool character.
But yeah,
or Azrael as well. Like,
no, I don't like Azrael as real. He's I mean, look, one of my favorite Batman stories is Nightfalls, which is like I've got 3 giant graphic novels of it. They literally are massive.
Yeah, that's when Banebricks is back in there.
Yeah, and he takes over the mantle of Batman, and I just wasn't. I don't know. I mean, it's a good story.
It's that Superman
still,
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't like him. I didn't like his character too much. He's really
it's the same as the Superman thing, where like Superman dies and then they have like 4 versions of Superman step in. I think it was. It's never quite as good.
But Superman was whack anyway.
Yeah, 100%. 100% was. 100% was. So yeah, Joker, I think. Because those games are fantastic and they wouldn't be half as good if it wasn't for having the great characters that they do. And Joker is the highlight of that.
Even the mannerisms they gave him, like, and the way they work the camera around him, everything about it was like super eerie. And So it's absolutely solid pick.
I love, on a slightly smaller note, I love the switch they do in Arkham City where Clayface is playing him half the time.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's really clever. And if you put your what's the detective mode? If you put detective mode on, you can see it because he doesn't have any bones or heartbeat or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's really, really cool. So much detail's incredible in
Yeah.
these games.
Oh no, big time, big time.
What? Who have you got next?
All right, I'm gonna go with Malice in Shadow of the Colossus,
Okay.
which is it's a sick game, and it's really questionable as to whether Malice is actually a villain. But for our purpose, playing the game, he is the villain. But
Yeah.
I guess I'd actually say that we're the villain. Anyway, very questionable. Malice is the final boss in the game. And say
Do you mean Dorman?
Dorman, yeah. Oh no. What did I? Yeah, okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're here, yeah. See, this is why my memory's
Yes.
terrible. But basically, I saw this thing the other day, and it was something I'd never thought about with the character before, right? It's this giant tower that's like, towered
Yeah.
Colossus that's sat up at the top of everything and can see all of the valleys. He can see every single light pillar from where you've killed all of his brothers and sisters
Yeah.
or whatever. He's literally sat there and watched you just brutalize his whole family, and then he's like, right, well, I can't fucking move, there's nothing I can do about this, I've just had to sit here and watch it. And then finally you're there to sort of fight him. I mean, it's epic. Just getting to him is epic, and climb him up
Wait, hold on.
it is Malice,
So
isn't it?
you actually mean a Colossus?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I
Malice.
thought you meant the thing that takes
no,
the
yeah,
princess.
sorry, my bad. My bad.
Ah, okay, fair.
But yeah,
Okay.
you can't.
I've only played a little bit of Shadow. I want
have you
to
not
pick up the
completed it?
No, it's one of those. It's on my PS3.
Oh no.
I played a little bit of it, and the thing that bumped me off of it was I've got a screwed up controller,
Oh, okay, all right, fair.
so it wouldn't hold its charge. So I had to I only had a short cable
Yeah.
sort of thing, so I could never play it properly.
You need to go back and play that.
I do. I think I'm just going to play the remaster
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because that's meant to be incredible.
I'd say to do that. But yeah, no, honestly, it's really sick. The climb up to the top of him is epic. And again, like looking at it from this perspective that I've recently been opened up to, it just makes it so much worse. So I guess you, the main character, are the actual villain here.
Man.
Obviously, it's not
Yeah.
your fault that you're the villain.
Yeah.
You clearly wouldn't know too much if you've not completed the game. But
I know about it. I've had
Yeah.
it. It's one of those where even if you know what's happening, it's still an experience to actually go through it.
I mean, I played it, on the PS2. I then played it on the PS3, and I would easily sit there and play it again now. But yeah, no, he's just a really, really good boss fight. And yeah, I just thought I'd add him just based on that. Like, it's just interesting to have a villain that's not really a villain, I guess.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the time as you're doing it, you think they are the villains.
Yeah. It's only
'Cause,
the
I mean-
final, at the end of the game that you get this sudden realization that, oh shit, I'd done
When you,
goofed.
When you were playing through it, did you ever notice that they don't attack you until you start attacking?
Certainly not on my first playthrough.
Sure.
I probably would have. I mean, I can easily see it now with like the very first Colossus. You kind of just run up to him and he's just chilling, and then you jump onto
even when you
his
like,
leg.
yeah, even when you start climbing on him, he doesn't really do anything. He's just like, oh hi,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
And then you just shank him up, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what I desperately need to play. Really, because I mean that's tied into Eco as well. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
Ico. Mate, what a fucking
ties
great
together
game.
really nicely.
Trying to convince Rach to play that. I mean, she said she does want to play it. She was just having an issue. Like, it's a bit weird getting some things on PS Now to work. Or well,
Right.
I mean, she has some trouble with some games. But I think that's just because it doesn't really explain too much. So I had no idea that the start button to push the start button, you have to push that little trackpad up in the top right corner, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the option button. So I was
Yeah.
like saying to her, oh, yeah, just push the option button. Just push the option button. It's got to be that.
Yeah.
There's no sort of like explanation of how that's. I mean, there might be somewhere, but it's certainly not apparent.
Well, I've seen it on. So I'm using it on PC. I've seen it on there because it comes up in a separate window when it's loading up,
Yeah,
and it says. I think it's either on that or on the other window.
ain't been funny.
That it says about it there, but it does flick through quite fast,
Yeah.
so you could easily miss it.
One of the things I like one of the few things I like about console gaming is when I start something up, I'm not paying attention to it. I'm like kicked back in my sofa watching my phone until something happens that I can respond to. So that's probably an bad sort of situation. But no, Ico is it's one of the only escort mission games that I'd say is worth it. I really need to cough.
Oh, don't worry,
That's
me too.
better. All cleared. I could just feel my voice was just like literally running away.
Oh, all good. I'm gonna go over to Bioshock because I adore Bioshock, and I'm slightly worried about the new game they're supposedly making because it might be a big old open world.
I just want more Rapture.
Yeah, I do as well. I mean, I'd like new things, a new place, but
no, I didn't even care about the Sky place. So much.
Columbia.
I
loved it.
Yeah, I'd say I couldn't even remember.
Part of the problem though is that like the writer for Bioshock and Bioshock Infinite is not on this. It's a completely new team, and apparently it's going to be a open world. And I'm like, excuse me.
There is this weird boner for open worlds at the moment, isn't there?
There is. I hate it.
Yeah.
I
love
hate
an
it
open
whenever
world
a
game,
game's like.
But
I really enjoy an open world game, but when a game turns around and goes, yeah, we're 4 times bigger than last time, I'm like, that does nothing for me.
Yeah.
That's just more
it
emptiness.
does feel like that these days, and it's like Skyrim. The map was huge, and then the next game that comes along is like, well, we've just doubled the size of Skyrim.
Yeah. Someone did it. I think it was Dead by Day. No, not Dead by. Maybe it was Dead by Daylight. No, that's that multiplayer game.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
What am I thinking of? I can't remember. There's another zombie it's a zombie parkour game that the name's escaping me. But
Dying Light.
Dying Light, thank you. Yeah, Dying Light 2. They've come back out of complete silence and said that their map is like 3 times bigger. I'm like, cool, whatever.
Dying Light was an alright game. I mean,
I've got it. I haven't actually played it.
It's all right. Play it with people.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I liked what I saw of it, but I just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, Bioshock. On this list that I'm looking at, it's got Andrew Ryan, but I don't want to talk about Andrew Ryan. I want to talk about... oh, damn it. I forgot his name. Oh, no. Hold on.
But yeah, I'll chuck my one from Bioshock out. The Big Daddies, I fucking loved them. They were great villains.
Oh, yeah, they're great. Well, it keeps saying Andrew Ryan's the villain, but Frank Fontaine is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Andrew Ryan's not the main villain. Frank Fontaine is. But he's one of my favorites just because of how incredibly well executed the twist is.
Yeah.
You get so far through, and he's so convincing as this guy who's just lost his family. He's stranded. He needs your help to, get out and get revenge.
Yeah.
And then you get to that scene where it's got that weird kind of collage. It's got just "Would you kindly" pasted over it, and then you just stop and think. It's like every single time we've gone to do something, Frank Fontaine, or what was his Atlas?
Yeah,
it was his was what he was calling himself. Was over the radio. Would you kindly do whatever? And then like the penny drops, and you're just like, oh my god. Disregarding the ending because the end boss fight is very paint by numbers.
Yeah.
And very bland.
That's a good explanation, actually. Paint by numbers.
bro, it's a shame it ended the way it did, but everything in the lead up was so good. Like genuinely, I think they could have ended it at the "Would you kindly" reveal.
Yeah, yeah. To be
I genuinely
fair,
think they could have ended it there, and then just had some like
just get glomped round here by a wrench. You're done.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, that would have
Maybe.
been a bit like, well, I've just spent the entire game getting fucking blown up and set on fire by Big Daddies. Why has one wrench taken me out? But
There is speaking of that kind of thing, there is one I can't remember for the life of me what game it's for, but I heard about it the other week where there's a game that it is like that. You die and restart all the way through, and then when you finish the game, you watch this character go through and have like this really nice life after he gets married, has kids, grows old, and dies, and then it resets back to the beginning of the game.
oh shit.
Because even him having like a really nice life and dying, he's still part of this system in this game.
Yeah.
So it dies and he resets back to whatever the last save point was or the beginning of the game or something like that. I'm like, that's such a cool
meta
ending.
levels, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, right. I don't even know what that game is, but I want to play it and experience that. But yeah, despite the ending, Frank Fontaine is such a well-crafted villain because he's manipulating you the entire time and you've got no clue.
yeah.
It's just so good. It's part of the reason, and Bioshock Infinite for that matter, because I think the Comstock stuff was really interesting too.
I really don't remember a lot about Infinite because I don't know what it was. I didn't enjoy it.
I mean, a lot of people didn't at the time. A lot of people have replayed it recently, and it's just kind of clicked for them now.
Yeah.
Which is odd, but it might have just been a case that it was out of its time sort of thing. There
Well,
was
it probably just felt a bit out of place for me because, like, my biggest controversial thing about the Bioshock series is that my favorite one was Bioshock 2. I just really, really loved that game. Obviously, the story in Bioshock 1 was, you know, it is the best of the series, definitely.
yeah.
But yeah, I just really prefer playing Bioshock 2.
I mean, Bioshock, I don't know if it was an entirely different team, but Bioshock 2 definitely doesn't have the main writer, whose name I'm forgetting off the top of my head. Only Bioshock 1 and Infinite does.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of the Dark Souls thing.
Yeah,
I think, is it Ken Levine? Yeah, Ken Levine. Yeah, it's kind of the, like I said, the Dark Souls thing where 2 isn't made by the guy sort of thing. It's not
Yeah,
the
that's
creator's
because
vision.
he
sort
was
of
off busy making a game I didn't enjoy at all.
thing. I think
I probably would
I
enjoy
think that
it.
might actually be on the
PS Now.
PS
Yeah,
Now, so it might be worth trying it out again because like mechanically it feels pretty much the same, just a bit smoother sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I will give it another go. I just don't know where it was. It just turned me off.
I think I'm gonna. So the next review I was gonna do is Bioshock 2, but I'm really feeling that I'm just gonna play through the series again.
Yeah,
Well, I say again, I haven't played 2, but I might just play Bioshock 1 if it's got any DLC to DLC because I've got the Bioshock collection.
yeah.
Got released, which I think is actually on PS Now as well.
I want the remasters.
Yeah. I think the remasters are only for 1 and 2
Yeah.
because 3 was 2013.
I mean, yeah,
and the
Infinite
collection only came out in
Infinite's
2016.
art style as well didn't really need.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah. To be fair, I still think the original Bioshock looks great. I think it still had that kind of off reality look to it. It holds up for me.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, no, like Andrew Ryan tends to be given the credit as the villain, but he's not the villain. He's not the villain. When you like smash him in the head and find out who the real villain is, that's such even beyond my enjoyment of it, it was such an important thing for gaming. It was such a big.
Well, I think it was
moment
one of those moments where it shows that storytelling in gaming is an actual thing, which we knew since Turok, because Turok on PlayStation 1 was a sick game. Or was it PS2? Anyway, doesn't matter. It did. It was like a real eye opener for, hey, we can write good stories if we get
Yeah.
good writers involved.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And it was just the subverting expectations thing.
Yeah.
And like people didn't pick up on it, and then bam, it's like, oh shit! And it was actually there the whole time. It wasn't one of those out of nowhere bullshit
Yeah.
ones. It was properly seeded under everyone's nose. You didn't see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frank Fontaine.
Do you know what? I think
Such
it's
a-
part of the chaos of the game that makes you not realise it, because
Yeah.
it is like super chaotic. He'll be talking to you like, "Would you kindly go and do this for me?" And you're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
well, I need to find somewhere to go." So you'll just walk that way, and the next thing you know, you're fighting off hordes of splicers, and you know, then a
Yeah.
Big Daddy shows up, and then you set all the alarms off, and you got all the little bloody flying turrets after you, and then next thing you know, it's, "Would you kindly go and do this as well?"
Yeah. Man, I love Bioshock. I'm in a weird state where I want a new one, but I also don't want a new one.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Unless Ken Levine is involved, because it's his stories that really make those things.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't played 2, so I can't speak on 2. But man, I'm both excited and extremely nervous for whatever they're going to do with this new one. If it is just a big open world thing, I'm still curious because Bioshock, but I do worry it just becomes it's a Bioshock game, but it's not really a Bioshock game sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
what
got another go for
what are
you.
you thinking next?
Now, I'm going to go back into the realms of maybe a little bit generic, maybe not. Metal Gear Solid 3. So we talked about this a tiny
Okay.
bit earlier as well. Now, I really thought about this because Metal Gear, I was like, I want to pull someone out of Metal Gear because Metal Gear is one of my other favorite franchises. And there's a lot of people we could pull out from the Metal Gear series I. And I thought specifically Metal Gear Solid 3. I started thinking about the end, obviously. He was a...
Oh, that's a great one.
He's an amazing boss fight and very, very just obvious.
So I didn't get to have the boss fight.
Oh, did you kill him in the wheelchair?
Yeah, I didn't even know I could do it. I was just... I was like, fuck it, I'm going to see what happens. And then he exploded and he died. I was like, oh my God.
I think from my multiple playthroughs, if you don't get him quickly enough during that scene, he actually like wheels off and runs away real quickly. It's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, I've seen that actually. Yeah.
The
It's like a
amount of effort they
cartoon like
put
spin-off.
into that one character as
Yeah.
far as boss fights go. But
Or like you can leave him for 2 weeks and then come back and he dies of old age.
exactly. Or you could just
It's
skip your
great.
clock forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was so many good bosses in Metal Gear Solid 3. Like, I'd say all of them were great, and the end there, as we say, is a fantastic example. But actually, the one I picked up from it was the Sorrow,
Yes.
because
I love the sorrow.
yeah, I mean, what an amazing concept for a boss fight. I mean,
Yeah.
it is definitely a boss fight. It's not just you're walking down a river sort of thing. Like, I know you
Yeah.
are, and that thing.
Yeah, because while it's not a traditional fight, you do have to figure out how to. Because like the first time I was doing it, I was walking for bloody
Yeah,
ages.
so was I. And the thing
It
is,
took me
as well,
so long to figure it out.
I thought that even after I'd done it the first time, because I'd walked for so long the first time, the second time round I bloody played the game, I thought I still had to fucking walk for ages before popping the pill.
Same. I thought there was a bit where he like actually kills you and then you pop it.
Yeah, no, it's a madness. But I that character, you learn more about him throughout the game.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
see his connection to the boss. And I think he's one of the ones that is like, because obviously the boss is painted as a double crosser, but actually is just doing what she's told by,
Yes.
the country that she's patriotic to. It's a whole thing. But, the Sorrow was definitely like solidly just on her side with her the whole way through sort of thing. I think he was
Yeah.
pretty much painted
Yeah.
as her lover, was he? Or am I remembering that?
Yeah, no, he was. They had a kid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go.
And that was Ocelot.
Yes.
Ocelot was their kid.
Yeah, so, he just, cool story, cool boss, awesome
Yeah.
idea for a boss fight, and is
Yeah.
a part of one of the best game franchises that has ever existed. So, you know, he gets an
Yeah.
extra point for that as well.
100%. I mean, like I said, the whole series has got really, really interesting. Even like Metal Gear 4, where it just goes bonkers. Like they take
Oh,
the iconic villains and like flip them.
was it? Was it Praying Mantis in that? I think it was called Praying.
Yeah, something like that. It was like Praying Mantis and
Yeah, that.
something to do with Sniper Wolf. I don't remember it too well. It's the one I remember the least.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. It
because
wasn't.
it just went mad.
I actually remember a lot more about the Phantom Pain than I do Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, me too. And I never finished that.
Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
But along similar lines, I wanted to throw in Sniper Wolf.
Yeah.
From Metal Gear
Mate,
1 because
I really thought about that.
great,
Yeah.
great. Because again, similar sort of thing. She's got an incredible story.
Yeah.
Her boss fight is similar thing. It's not all action. You have to wait and you have to be patient and you have to take a shot when you can. And
Every encounter with her throughout that game was good.
yeah, yeah. And then again, similar with the Sora, you have that added layer of there is the love story in there between her and damn it, I'm forgetting his name.
How's your memory?
Dude with glasses. Man, what is going on? I'm tired today.
To be fair, this is a bit later than our normal recording time.
It is.
Go on, dude with glasses.
I've literally typed that in. Oh god, there's so many people with glasses in Metal Gear. One's come up with Hideo Kojima. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Emmerich.
Yes.
Emmerich.
I was like,
he's got another name as well. Otacon.
Otacon, yeah. I was sitting
Otacon,
there.
that's
I
what
was
I'm
like,
thinking
should I let him keep sweating it out, or should I like, put him out?
That's the thing when you're recording. When you can't think of something or like a word doesn't come out, it feels like forever.
Yeah, I know.
It feels like 40 years have passed. But then you listen to it back, it's like, oh, it's a couple of seconds, it's fine. No, but the love story in there with Otacon, it just adds so much to it. And again, same or similar levels with Grey Fox, because the backstory,
mate. So I considered
so good.
Frank Yeager being a bad guy. He's like my favorite character from the entire series. I considered him to be a villain. Obviously, taking that more from the Metal Gear games and from the PSP games and that.
Yeah.
But actually, like, you know, especially actually if I'm going to talk about the PSP game, he joins your team. Frank Yeager is a member of your team.
Yeah.
He's your ally, he's your buddy, but I mean, you are playing as Big Boss in that game, but so it makes a bit more sense. But yeah, no. Was he an enemy, or was he just a dude who really liked to feel pain?
Well, it is one of those with a lot of the Metal Gear games. It's very blurry.
Yeah.
It's very blurry. There are a couple who are just like, nah, you're just straight up dick.
Yeah, like
but
Vulcan,
a lot of
he
them
annoyed
are
me.
blurry. So yeah, no, like I said, Metal Gear, you could just probably list it in.
I mean, look, I
entire videos worth. Alone.
yeah, we could sit here for the next like probably 4 or 5 hours talking about Metal Gear.
So just really quickly then, while we're on Metal Gear, so we've got Oscar Isaac as Snake. Who would you cast as not Otacon, sorry, as I think it's Metal Gear. So who would you cast as Liquid Snake?
As Liquid.
I'd go Tom Hiddleston personally.
Hiddleston would get the look down to a T, but he doesn't have the accent. But
he can do
mean,
accents.
Yeah, he's an actor.
Wait, you know he does.
Nah, he has. Nah, he's not got that.
He's got a British accent. That's what.
Yeah, but he's got like a posh boy.
Tom Hiddleston could do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got the looks.
He could definitely do it.
I don't know.
He just need to dye his hair and bulk up a little.
I don't know who I'd put down as Liquid actually.
What about Revolver Ocelot?
Oh, mate, you're chucking out the hard questions here because these are things I've never even considered. I actually forgot that they was doing this.
I did until literally just a second ago, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, honestly, I don't know. You know what? Get back to me on the next one. I'll give you some
Maybe that's one we'll do, because we've done this privately before.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember we did that on a very good night
Yeah,
out.
mate, you proper put
Where
me
we
on the
ended up
spot
just-
right there. I mean,
we have done it
I'm just
before. We did
putting
it on a
out
night
there.
out at like 5 a.m.
Yeah,
and that was a very interesting
I
conversation.
cast Carnage, and I was 100% right about who that was.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have chosen better, in my opinion, because
I mean, Woody Harrelson is like perfect for
I
everything.
love the dude, yeah. And White Man can
Yeah,
jump.
he's-
He did it.
White
I've
Man
seen
can
him.
I don't know. Where should I go next? I'm gonna go Frau Engel from Wolfenstein. So she's in both Wolfenstein, the New Order, and Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. And to put it, have you played either of those?
No,
the new Wolfenstein games.
I've played some of the older ones, but
Right.
well out here, no idea.
I highly, well, I think one of them is on Game Pass. I can't remember which one. When you sign up to that, highly recommend it because they're fantastic. I honestly prefer them over Doom. I think they're incredible because they do story stuff better. I just prefer it. I think it's really cool. But no, she is like Hitler is in the second game, and they do some incredible
He's a
stuff.
pretty
Hitler is
iconic
really
villain,
funny.
isn't he?
But Frau Engel, she is genuinely way worse. She like Hitler shows up and you hate her more still.
Oh, really?
Like she is so well done. Like she's not the main villain of the first game. She's like the sidekick that becomes the main villain. And she is just an annoying asshole in that first game. There's a really, really good bit where you're on a train face to face and she doesn't know who you are yet. And it's just a really, really cool scene because she can be terrifying. She is extremely powerful. She does not give a shit at all. She's got a sister who she just treats like shit. She is incredibly assholey.
Yeah.
Even like I said, Hitler's in this game and she's more of an asshole than Hitler was. It's just done so well and it's so sad. It's another one of those where the ending is satisfying, but it's not quite as satisfying as you'd like because a lot of it is taken out of your hands. A lot of it is kind of you go in this specific route. There's this specific thing you have to do.
Just while it's in my head, because we just talked about satisfying endings a few times, right? And we're currently talking about Hitler. Talking about wars. I think one of the most satisfying endings I've ever felt in a game, or like satisfying mission completes. Because I can't remember whether it's the end of the game or not, because it was a long time ago. Call of Duty World at War. When you fucking get that flag up, you're playing as the Russians, and you get that fucking flag up at the top of the building. Like, I have never felt more proud. Like, that was fucking satisfying. That was very satisfying because that was hard work.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
I don't think I played that
I
one.
just wanted to get that little tidbit in because you're
No,
talking
fair.
about that game, and it just put me straight in mind of that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I highly recommend playing. I'm pretty sure there's only one of the main two Wolfenstein or new ones on there on Game Pass. But I highly recommend playing them. I think they're fantastic.
If it's worth it, then it's worth it. It's like another game series I keep meaning to try and get into is the Metro games.
Oh yeah, same. I played the first one.
I haven't played any of them at all, but I've heard good things about them, so I feel like I probably should do that. At some point.
Really like I think I played like a quarter of the first one, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's got an interesting. There's an interesting aesthetic and an interesting world there, but I didn't get too far into like the story stuff. It's it feels like kind of like Gears War if it was set like 100 years before. If it wasn't like futuristic with aliens, it feels like kind of like that and first person.
Oh, nice.
but no, that yeah, I'm the same. I want to get into them more.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're done with the series now because they've done a trilogy. They might have been one of those.
Oh, was it only a trilogy of games?
There's 3 out at the minute. I don't know if there's
I
going to be
really
more.
felt like there was more.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I mean, there's probably.
I think it is
not,
only
yeah.
3. But I don't know if it's one of those because a lot of games recently that have come out have been like, yeah, cool, that's the last one we're doing, like Ori and the Blind Forest. Not Blind Forest, sorry, the Will of the Wisps.
I
They're
think
not doing
this is
another one of
important.
those.
Like, things should come to an end. It shouldn't just be a
100%.
continuous onslaught of
Yeah,
releases.
100%. That's one of the things I really respect about FromSoft. They're like, yeah, no, Dark Souls is done.
Yeah.
We're not touching it. Demon Souls was done, and we're kind of just
Well, I mean,
plodding on
Dark
and
Souls
not-
kind of is Demon Souls. Yeah.
Yeah, I
let's
mean,
not go
it's
there.
all kind of related in one way or another, but they are.
Basically, Demon Souls
kind of done.
flopped. I didn't know anyone. Well, I knew one person who had played that game back when it came out, and it just
Yeah.
it didn't achieve very well. But apparently, creating pretty much the same sort of story under a new guise with some new
Yeah,
aesthetics and calling it a different name sold. So.
Yeah, and I mean the remake sounds like it's done really well as well.
Oh yeah.
And it's a good starting place for anyone that hasn't got into those games because I haven't found it too difficult. But
Yeah, I'd say Demon Souls is definitely easier than Dark Souls. But yeah, I mean, it's just an all-around amazing game. I haven't played the remaster yet, or remake, because it is a remake, isn't it? Or is it a remaster? I don't really know.
it's a remake. Yeah, it's a remake.
I just remember it looked absolutely mental, and I remember watching the trailer when that came out. I was like, this feels really familiar. Like I know what this is. It feels so familiar, and then like the penny
I did
drops.
the same. I did the same.
No, it was sick.
I did the exact. I know, like a bit of music hit, and I'm like, what the
Oh.
fuck? That sounds kind of like
What-
It all rang a bell, and then Demon Souls was like, okay.
While we're in the FromSoft realms, I didn't really
Yes.
think about Dark Souls and that when I was like coming up with some things to add to this list, but I can think of 2 characters right now that I would say were like sick bosses in that game, in those games. In fact, both of the ones I'm going to mention now are from Dark Souls 1. So you got Sif the Wolf. He was
Oh yeah,
just absolutely amazing. He was an amazing boss in the base game, and then you chuck in the DLC for him as well, and you
Yeah.
understand his backstory even more than you do
Yeah.
from the lore.
That's such a good
And
one.
then if you do it in the right order, you do the DLC before you go and fight him in the woods, then you get a really unique scene where he's like, man, I
Yeah.
recognize you, but I'm about to fuck your day up.
Yeah. Isn't there a bit where like you fight together for a little bit?
Yeah. So you can summon him in, and this is the other boss that I was going to talk about, to fight Malice, which is the furtive pygmy. If you want to delve into the lore of Dark Souls, basically he was the first dickhead human. But he's like this amalgamated monster thing, and you can summon Sif to fight by your side for that fight. But my main reason for for saying this right now is because I played through Dark Souls 1 with a mate of mine, and we fought pretty much every single boss together. It was a really, really good experience. I actually highly recommend that for anyone who thinks the game might be too hard. Just find a friend, play through it with them, because it's just an enjoyable experience. But yeah, so we did it. Completed Malice for me. Malice is literally the final boss of the DLC, so it's the literal end game for it.
Sure. Sure.
But he couldn't do it. Like we done it on my save. Yeah, I killed him off. I bunned him off. In fact, my mate actually died during my one, and I just sort of like slowly chipped away at the rest of the health and finished the fight. But my mate just couldn't, like, no matter what, he just couldn't do it. And with the way the multiplayer works in Dark Souls, obviously, if the main summon dies, then, or the main player dies, then the summon disappears. Yeah, so it's not like I could do it for him or finish it off for him, because I mean he definitely was I'd say he was more skilled at the game than me. It was just, some bosses work better for other people.
Yeah.
He just couldn't do it, and it pissed him off so much that he rage quit the game and has since never actually completed it.
Oh man.
Right at the very end of the game.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, it's sick. I mean, it is a fun fight as well. It is mental.
Sure.
And you don't really know where you're looking half the time and what you're doing, but
Fair. I'm going to finish off with probably my favorite villain ever. And it is a bit of an obvious one, I think. But it's GLaDOS. Because
how did I forget
everything about
her?
Portal, everything about Portal,
Yeah.
like Portal 2, even to be fair, Portal 1 as well, they're both up there with some of my favorite games ever. I think the writing is incredible. I would honestly probably put Wheatley up there as well somewhere, because again of the tone is the
Actually, I think I hated
having
Wheatley
this-
more than I hated GLaDOS.
exactly. He was such a halfwit, and he was played so well by Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, he did. He did sick.
And then you get to the point where you unplug GLaDOS and put him in, and you're like, sick, did it. And then it's like, oh shit, he's gone mad with power.
Yeah,
And it's just insane. And even like the post credits ending, where they're in space and you're with the Space Corps, and he's just in the background being nuts. And that's voiced by it was voiced by Nolan North. He does the Space Corps, which I thought was really funny. And he's just up there in space. He's like, you know what? In hindsight, I was a bit of a dick. I really regret it. I wish I could just go back and say I'm sorry. It's just so funny.
I mean, it's
so
like you
funny,
say,
so well
the
written.
Portal games were just boss. They were just great.
Yeah. The puzzles are so cleverly crafted, where like they can be really difficult, but when it clicks, you're just like, okay, I got it. It's so satisfying. Going back to satisfying ending stuff. The bit where GLaDOS is a potato for a bit.
Oh yeah.
It's just all so incredibly well crafted, incredibly funny. Man, it's one of those games I wish I could like wipe my memory on and just go back and experience for the first time.
Yeah, straight up.
So I think it's been long enough that I wouldn't get the puzzles immediately, but I'm never not going to remember like the CEO of Aperture and his rant about lemons.
Yeah.
And, making lemon grenades and stuff like that. That is, it's just all so funny and so endearing and just so incredible.
Especially for a game that started as a bonus game.
Yeah, man. It was a mod of Half-Life 2, wasn't it?
It's just a madness.
It's just so incredible. There's like one line where GLaDOS is taking the piss out of you, and she's like, "Yeah, even your parents don't love you. Here, I'm gonna ring them." And then she rings them, and then on the other side, it's GLaDOS pretending to be your parents and be like, "Yeah, no, you suck," and then hangs up. It's just so good, so funny, so just it. I don't believe in, but I don't think anyone does, in there being a perfect game. But if there is, Portal is pretty much it. Portal 2 is just so very good. I genuinely think it's one of the best games ever.
Oh yeah. No, it's great.
On more than just like on its whole, it definitely is. But I think writing wise, humor wise, gameplay wise, character wise, it's all so funny. And I would probably die, but I would love Portal VR if that's where they're going.
Mate,
I think that would be
the
really cool.
first thing that I am going to do if there's a Portal VR.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
I
I do.
ain't coming back out of that thing. Like,
Just
Jesus
slam a portal
Christ.
under you, slam a portal above you.
do you know what? They're going to have to, because that's going to cause some damage to people.
I mean, even it absolutely would. It would screw you up. And I think they looked at doing it. If I remember correctly, they looked at doing it, but traveling through the portals would just fuck you up. And they didn't find a way of it not fucking you up.
I'm here for it,
probably.
though. I am here for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would take that punishment. I would absolutely take that punishment.
Just for the rest of my life, that's all I see afterwards. It's fine.
100%. Yeah. 100%, 100%. You would literally be thinking with portals, to paraphrase the game. But even tangented a bit off of GLaDOS, but even there's another like mod fan made game where it's a prequel. I think it's called Portal Stories Mel. I think it's called, and it's a prequel to when Aperture first like just goes under and goes to shit. And even that is incredible. Like just everything to do with Portal is so well done. I would absolutely kill for a new one. I don't really care what form it comes in. Even like there's another weird like spin-off game called Bridge Constructor Portal. It took me ages to realize it was actually, that Portal. Even that's kind of fun. It's not, it's not Portal level fun, but it is still fun.
Yeah.
No, GLaDOS is my absolute favorite villain ever. I think she's just incredible.
I don't think I've got to a point of being able to say a favorite villain ever. There's just there's too many that are all just like pretty sick. I'm just going to chuck out an honorable mention without going like too in depth about it. You may remember there was an old game series called Manhunt.
Yes.
Pigsy in Have you played Manhunt?
I have not.
No, but
I know a relative about.
Doesn't matter anyway. Just honourable mention. Pigsy. If you know, you know, he's a sick villain. His get up is just dope, and that's all I've got to say.
I'll throw another one in there. Actually, I want Dutch van der Linde from Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. What prick?
Because in one he's kind of fine. He's okay in the first one. He's not really, he's the guy you're hunting down, but he's not the villain. The villain is the police officers you're working for, whose name escaped me at the moment. Yeah. But in 2, which hopefully you will finish one day, the character development is so incredible.
But I already don't like him. So.
Oh, dude. Yeah, he is fantastic in 2. He goes from just being like a random, well, not a random, but like a kind of generic bad guy that you got to hunt down in the first one, to being genuinely one of the best characters in video game history. He is so good. He's done so well and so well crafted. Because you go, I mean, you might be different, but I went from being like, oh yeah, this guy's a bit of a dick, to actually playing to absolutely falling in love with the guy, absolutely falling for all of his shit, and then going back to absolutely hating the guy, but kind of understanding how his head works and how he got to where he is and stuff like that. It's just, Red Dead Redemption 2 is an absolute masterpiece.
I just don't like him because he's too demanding of me, man. He's like, go do this, go get that. Hey, man, you go and do this for me. I'm like, bruv, I've got some bears to hunt. Like, behave.
Yeah. That is very true.
And that's my Red Dead experience right there in a nutshell.
I'll say maybe the real villain of Red Dead Redemption 2 is the world, because you just get distracted by it. You can't.
For me, it fucking definitely is. Honestly, like I know. So I tried turning it on a couple weeks ago, because it had been quite a while, and I was turning it on with the sole intention of just going to do a mission. But when I loaded in, I wasn't at my campsite, because that's not where I'd been, because I was never at my campsite, so I was nowhere near any fucking mission starting. I was on the opposite side of the map, and I was like, oh look, there's a really good spot for hunting bears just up there. And I proceeded to hunt bears. So it's just so dumb. I don't understand why that is my go-to. Or fishing. I do a lot of fishing in that game as well.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's all just so fun. You can live in that world. You absolutely can. But yeah, like I said, I think you don't have a definitive.
No,
best.
I really
think
don't.
GLaDOS is probably. I mean, GLaDOS is the one that always just comes to mind for me, sort of thing. She is just so memorable and so intrinsic to that game because like your character doesn't talk. Obviously, she's the only other person other than like Cave Johnson in the second one and Wheatley that you hear talking. Just damn near perfect character.
I'll tell you who's a prick as a villain in video games. Seymour in Final Fantasy X. He fucking pissed me off enough. I always remember him as well. Yeah, he just fucking turns up all the time. He's always there around every other fucking corner. As soon as he becomes the villain of the game, he's just there.
Blue hair dude.
He's just fucking there all the time.
Fun hairstyle he's got.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game. What do you expect?
Very. Fair. Well, I think we'll leave it there for episode 9. As I mentioned earlier, we've got I think it's going to be a really interesting episode 10 where we get into video game pricing and that discussion, given everything that's going on. But yeah, as usual, if you like this video or podcast, if you listen to it on Spotify, well, you can't give it a like on Spotify, but you know what I mean. Do give it a like. Do leave us some nice comments, any suggestions, anything like that. We're open to all suggestions because, as I said, we are going a bit more topic based. This news is a bit light. There's not anything that's massively worth talking about, apart from obviously the next episode, as I mentioned. But yeah, I think Glados is a good point to leave it on. I genuinely can't. And we went through the whole episode without mentioning Sephiroth, which I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't rate Sephiroth as much as most people do, so. That's what I've got to say about that.
Fair enough.
You can open up a tin of worms about that another time because Seymour. Yeah,
I mean, again, what better place to leave it on than Sephiroth is potentially overweighted.
I mean, he is a bit of a chunky boy, man. Like I saw him in the remake, and he's definitely put a bit of weight on.
I'm telling you that sword that he has adds a lot of weight.
Certainly.
A lot of it's just sword.
Anyway, basically, Sephiroth is a little bitch, and he can move on.
Yeah, we'll leave it on that then. But yeah, as always, we'll talk to you again in the next one. Bye.
Goodbye.